The call didn't scare him. What scared him was realizing it wasn't coming from outside the apartment. The realization didn't arrive all at once. It didn't rush him. It didn't demand his attention. It settled quietly, like dust. Daniel would later struggle to explain the exact moment things shifted, because nothing dramatic happened. There was no sound that didn't belong, no movement he could point to, just the subtle understanding that something about the call didn't match the way reality usually behaved. At 2:14 a.m., Daniel was awake in his apartment. Not because he had to be, because he hadn't bothered to sleep yet. The television was on, muted out of habit rather than intention. He disliked how loud ads had become, how voices tried too hard to sound familiar. The screen flickered softly, painting the walls in pale blues and grays. Every few seconds, the room rearranged itself in shadows. Outside, the city was quieter than it should have been for a Friday night. No sirens, no laughter drifting up from the street, just the distant, constant suggestion of traffic somewhere far away. Daniel sat on the couch, phone in hand, scrolling without reading. When the vibration came, it startled him only because it broke the rhythm. The screen lit up, unknown. He didn't hesitate. Wrong numbers happened. Spam happened. Late-night calls from automated systems happened more often than they should have. He answered. There was a pause on the other end. Not the kind caused by bad reception, the kind that felt intentional. Then a voice spoke. It didn't introduce itself. It didn't confirm who it was calling. It said, calmly, that Daniel shouldn't be in the apartment anymore. Daniel frowned slightly. He didn't respond. He waited. Scammers usually rushed. They filled silence with urgency, threats, promises. This voice did none of that. It seemed comfortable with the quiet, as if it had expected it. After a few seconds, it continued. It described the apartment, the narrow hallway that bent slightly to the left, the uneven floorboard near the bedroom door that made a dull sound when stepped on too quickly, the bathroom mirror with the tiny chip in the top right corner, shaped like a crescent. Daniel's eyes shifted around the room. None of those details were private. None of them were alarming on their own. But hearing them listed so casually felt invasive, like someone narrating his thoughts. He still said nothing. The voice went on. It mentioned the television, muted. Then the phone charger stretched across the floor, bent where the cable had been rolled over again and again by the wheels of his desk chair. Daniel's grip tightened around the phone. He checked the screen to confirm the call was still connected. It was. The voice never once asked him to confirm anything. It didn't need to. It spoke as if it already knew where he was, how he was sitting, what he could see. "You're closer to the hallway than you think," the voice said. Daniel shifted slightly. He hadn't realized he'd leaned forward. That was when he ended the call. He didn't hang up angrily. He didn't shout. He simply pressed the button. The silence that followed felt heavier than before. The refrigerator kicked on. A pipe clicked behind the wall. The low hum of electricity filled the space the voice had occupied. Daniel told himself there was an explanation. A neighbor, someone observant, someone bored. He locked his phone and placed it face down on the coffee table. 30 seconds later, it vibrated again. This time there was no call. A voicemail notification sat quietly on the screen. Confused, Daniel unlocked the phone. The voicemail timestamp made no sense. It had been recorded 3 minutes earlier, while the call was still active. The message was short, the same voice, closer now. It told him to check the bathroom mirror. Daniel stayed where he was. Scams didn't work like this. Pranks didn't either. He waited, listening for anything that didn't belong to the apartment's normal nighttime sounds. His breathing felt too loud in his ears. After nearly a minute, he stood and walked down the hallway. The bathroom light was off. The mirror reflected mostly darkness, his own face faint and distorted at the edges. For a moment, everything looked normal. Then he noticed the condensation. The center of the mirror was fogged, as if someone had recently stood close to it after a hot shower. Daniel hadn't showered that night. The air felt colder in the bathroom. The fan wasn't on. The window was closed. He stepped closer and wiped the glass with his sleeve. A word appeared beneath the fading fog, uneven, distorted. Still, he stepped back. The condensation faded naturally, slowly, the way fog always did. Nothing supernatural happened, and that made it worse. Daniel returned to the living room. His phone showed no missed calls. The unknown number no longer appeared in his history. At 2:31 a.m., a text message arrived. No number, no sender. It said that leaving now would be worse. Daniel didn't respond. He sat back down, this time positioning himself so he could see the hallway clearly. He raised the television volume slightly, not to distract himself, to prove he was alone. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. At 3:02 a.m., another voicemail appeared. It didn't vibrate. It didn't announce itself. He noticed it only because he hadn't stopped staring at the phone. The message contained no voice, just sound, low, consistent. After several seconds, Daniel recognized it. It was his apartment, the distant traffic, the elevator hum, the subtle creak of pipes adjusting to temperature. Then he shifted slightly in his seat. The sound shifted too. It wasn't a recording, it was live. The voicemail ended with a soft click. Daniel didn't wait for anything else. He left just before sunrise. He didn't pack. He didn't turn off the lights. He locked the door behind him without checking twice. Outside, the city felt wrong in a different way, too open, too unaware. He stayed with a friend for several days. Nothing followed him, no calls, no messages. The fear dulled into something manageable, something he could explain away when asked. 2 weeks later, the building manager called. There had been a complaint, not loud noise, movement, footsteps late at night, slow, deliberate. The apartment was inspected. No forced entry, no damage. The bathroom mirror was clean, but the manager mentioned one detail casually. The television had been on, muted. And according to the building's security logs, Daniel's phone connected to the apartment's Wi-Fi network 2 hours after he had already left the building. No explanation was ever confirmed. The number never appeared again. The voicemails remain on Daniel's phone, all except one. The first one, the one that told him to check the mirror. That message no longer exists. And sometimes, late at night, when Daniel sits completely still, his phone lights up without vibrating.